Welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be at Capital Casino today playing in the 1-3 game. This is vlog 207 and I want to take just a minute to say thank you to all the subscribers. As you can see by the bottom right hand corner, we made it to the 10K mark. It's been something I've been trying to achieve for a while now, and I just want to say thank you everyone who subscribed. First hand of the day is a bomb pot, $15. We got 9 players playing. So we got 135 in the center. We look down at Jack 9 of clubs. Not a bad starting hand, especially when the flop comes King Jack 7 with 2 clubs. It's checked over to the player in the number 1 seed who fires out for $60. I'm not really happy about this, but I do have a pair and a flush draw, so I don't think I can fold anytime soon, so I put in the call. Everybody else decides to fold out, so it's just going to be the two of us when we go see this turn card. Well, hoping to hit something good, but instead we get the 6 of diamonds. So it doesn't bring any of our straight draws or backdoor straight draws in. We still only have a flush draw and a pair. He checked it over to me. I'm just going to check this back. River card comes as a complete brick. He now fires for $145. He could be on some sort of missed flush draw, and maybe my pair of jacks is good. But first hand of the session, I think I'm just going to have to let this one go and move on to the next one. Well, we ended up switching tables, and 40 minutes later we pick up Queen 9 of spades. It's $15 to go, and we got 5-way action to see this flop, which comes out Ace 8-3 with 2 spades. Pretty good flop for my hand. I decided to check it. There's probably someone in there with an ace willing to bet this hand. Player at the end of the table bets for $16. Not a very large bet. Makes me think that maybe they don't have too much. Player to my right puts in a quick call. Here I decided just to call. I thought about check raising, seeing if I can win it right away, but with the caller to my right, he could easily have an ace and not want to go anywhere. Turn card comes is a 6 of spades. We make the second nuts now. First player checks. I decided to check to the player at the end of the table who now bets a much larger size. So maybe he was betting a flush draw and got there, or maybe he has a hand like 2 pair and is just trying to scare out any kind of 1 card spade draw. I thought long and hard about this. This is an aggressive player who's been betting. I decided that I might be able to check raise on the end, more likely than check raising now. So I put together my chips and I slide in the call, just hoping for a blank, and either he'll bluff at it or bet for value, and then I'll go ahead and check raise all in. River card comes as 8 of diamonds. It does pair the board. I check it over and he quickly checks it back and shows a 10 high flush. Of course, I have a better hand than that, but oh man, did I miss out on some value. I'm a little upset with myself for not playing more aggressively. So when this hand came up, I decided to be aggressive with it. There's a limp pot. Player in the small blind who likes to squeeze raises to 45. I'm sure ace queen is well ahead of his range, so I re-raised to 160. Just trying to get it heads up with him in position. There is a player with a short stack at the far end of the table in seat 9 who goes all in for $61. Shouldn't really have any effect on the pot, so I'm just going to keep the pot going just the way it is. No side pots here. Player to my right thinks long and hard and finally decides on putting in a call. So once he puts in the call, I'm sure that I have the best hand. We just have to stay that way on the flop. So it took a little while for the dealer to get everything squared away, but once we have our side pot figured out, we get to see a flop. And what a flop it is. It comes down ace, queen, jack with 2 clubs and a heart. Very wet flop, very good for my hand. I got top 2 pair. It should also hit my opponent's range. He thinks for a while before checking. And once he checks, I figure if he has pocket jacks, so be it. I don't put him on any king 10. So let's just get it all in there. He might have some sort of big draw. He seemed like he thought on it for a while. So I jam for 400 and change. He snap calls, and we're off to the races where we see a 9 of diamonds, And the river card's a king of diamonds. Don't like that one at all. My opponent turns over Jack 10 of clubs, so he flopped the world. He has a pair, a straight flush draw, a flush draw, of course. Turned an open end straight draw, got there on the end. Yeah, after the flop, we're about 50-50. Two pair against that kind of draw. He got there. He had to call 115 more pre-flop, but with that extra dead $61 in there, I think he was getting the right price. So congratulations to my opponent. You got me good. Well, I guess it's time to reload. So I buy another $500, and the best way to fix getting your beat is start out with a better hand. This time I have a pair of aces. We have one player that raises to 15. I make it 45. Everyone else folds out. It's just going to be the two of us seeing this flop, which comes out above average. Ace, queen, 3 with 2 spades. I got top set, and I'm not going to check this. I bet $20 after he checks, and he quickly lets it go. All right, I'm under the gun with 2 nines, open for $15. End up getting 4 callers for the $15. Comes back around to the player in the big blind. He has a shortest size stack, around $140. He thinks that his hand is worth it, so he goes ahead and shoves all in. Of course, I'm not going to be folding here. I think the correct play is to reshove and isolate him. If he has me beat, so be it. If not, we're probably going to flip with someone with 2 overcards. Everyone else folds out, so it's just going to be the two of us. And we see a flop that comes ace, jack, 3 with 2 diamonds. He shows over ace, jack, so I tell him I'm really in bad shape. Comes runner, queen of diamonds, 7 of diamonds. I told him I had 2 nines, didn't know if I had the diamond or not, but sure enough I did. So I got a little lucky on this flip, and we are back on the winning ways. The very next hand, I'm in the big blind with 8-7. There was a $6 straddle, a bunch of limpers, so I go ahead and limp along. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with $24 in it, which comes out really good. 8-7-5 rainbow. So I got top 2. I decided to check it. Player in the cutoff decides just to ship it all in. He had about $85 to start of the hand. Of course, I'm going to be calling. I just make the quick call, and we see a run out that's not very pretty with a 6 of hearts and a 2 of diamonds. He ends up having 8-3 of spades. So we're going to win this one with 2 pair. All right, we're making a pretty good comeback. We're only down $220 at the start of this bomb pot. We have 7 players, and I'm on the bomb button. So I'm going to have position on everyone else. I got 2 black 9s. Pretty good starting hand. Flop comes out ace, 10, 9. Thank you very much. So we flop bottom set in a pretty good situation. Someone has an ace, someone might have some straight draws. Player who's in the big blind leads out for $45. He's a pretty solid player. Pretty sure he's betting something, most likely a hand like ace 10, 10, 9, ace 9, or maybe a bigger set. He could possibly have a straight draw. The other player goes all in for $69. Player to my right ends up folding, and when it comes to me, I'm thinking I really would like to raise this, but a bet and all in for more, and if I ended up raising this, it would look so scary. I decided I was just going to flat here and let him continue since I have position. So after that player folds, I go ahead and put in the $69 for the call. Everyone else folds out, and the original bettor makes the call. So the two of us are going to see a turn card with a side pot of nothing yet, but I expect it to grow very large. He has a pretty good size stack, more than I do. Once he makes the call, the dealer figures out the main pot, and we go to a turn card. Well, the turn card is the second worst card in the deck. It is the 10 of clubs. Worst card, of course, would have been an ace. He could have ace 10 here, 10-9. He has a full house bigger than mine. Not really great, but he looks very disappointed. So when he checks, I decided to bet for 120. If he puts in a big raise here, I would hate to do it, but I'll probably just let my hand go because I put them on either a two-pair type of hand or possibly some sort of straight draw, say Jack 8, Queen Jack, something like that. Anyway, he tanks for a long time and finally makes what I considered a crying call for the 120. We get to see a river card, which comes a Queen of Diamonds. Pretty good card to me. I thought about just checking this back after he checked, but I got a little greedy. I decided to go for some value. I thought maybe this hit his hand. If he had a weaker ace, like a hand like ace 9, and got counterfeited, that maybe the queen kicker on board will make him call. He might have made a straight, would say Jack 8. So I put out a bet for 225. He tanks for a while and ends up folding. When he did fold, he did show me that he had ace 9. So he did flop 2-pair, got counterfeited. If the turn was a blank, say anything smaller than a 7, he definitely would have went off and I could have got probably a double up. I'm in the big blind with pocket 8s. There's a player that opens for 20. There's 2 callers, and I decided to call from the big blind for the additional $17. 4 of us see a flop that comes out King 7-3 rainbow. Not a very good flop for me. I decided to check it. The original raiser now bets for $35. The other 2 players end up folding, and it's probably just folding here is fine, but I like to play hands with this person. He's a good player, and we'd like to mix it up once in a while. And I decided if I call or just flat here with a king on board, it's going to look pretty strong like I have a king. And if he doesn't have anything, he's probably just going to check it back on the turn. So I call. We see a turn card, which is the king of diamonds. My plan here is to go for a check raise because it's highly unlikely that he has a king, but he snap checks it back, and I think I missed my opportunity. River card comes as a 10 of diamonds. It could be a possible flush now. I thought about bluffing, but I just decided to check it back. And so my opponent just rolls over that he had pocket queens. There's a $6 straddle. 2 people call. I look down at ace king from the low jack. Decided to put in a hefty raise to $45. Just trying to take down the chips that are out there. But I get a quick call from the player in the big blind and one of the limpers. So we're going to end up going 3 ways to this flop with 145 in the center. Flop comes out really good. King 3 deuce with 2 spades. I do have the ace of spades in my hand. So I got top pair, top kicker, and a backdoor flush draw. Both players end up checking to me. Both players are fairly active, and I decided I was going to build a pretty good sized pot here. So I decided to bet about half pot of $75. Player at the end of the table tanks for a while, but finally decides to let his hand go. Next player, he didn't think quite as long. He went ahead and put it in. He's having a pretty rough day, so I think he might be calling light. Turn card comes as a queen of spades. Of course, that completes the king-queen hand that I might be up against, but otherwise it looks like it's a green light. He only has like $110, $120 left. I go ahead and stick it all in there. After some thought, he just decides to let it go. I did play for a little bit longer, but nothing really too interesting happened. So it wasn't a big win today, but it's a win is a win. So for the day, we ended up winning $210, which is not bad after losing that ace-queen and getting stacked. We fought our way back, got lucky on a few hands, but overall, I think I played decently. I kind of missed out on value on that queen 9 of spades hand. I probably should have just checked raised the turn and shoved the river. Got a little bit too cute and ended up costing me a few bucks. For the month, we're up about $210, of course, because this was just the first session of the month. But I really want to say thank you to all those subscribers, getting us to 10K. I've been working towards that goal for a while now. It's fantastic to be here, and I owe it all to you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for those of you who are interested in hearing what I learned on my Cleanspark trip out to Atlanta, hang on for a little bit and I'll show you what's more. And for those who are just signing off, thanks for watching. Appreciate your support. And until next time, good luck at the tables. All right, for those of you who stuck around to learn a little bit about Cleanspark and Bitcoin, this is a chart of Bitcoin over the last 18 months, and overlaid in the orange is the price of Cleanspark. So as you can see, Bitcoin is up over 300% over this time period, and Cleanspark is up over 600%. So Cleanspark is a proxy on the price of Bitcoin, and it was very undervalued when I started investing in it 18 months ago. I decided this was the best bang for my buck at the time, and it has outperformed Bitcoin. Right here where the white arrow is late October when I made a vlog and I decided to tell people about it. I really don't want to give investment advice, but I thought that I'll let you guys be aware of it because it looked like it was a sure thing, and I would have felt guilty if I kept this to myself. So it was around $4 a share then. It's around $16 a share now. So if you bought that at that time, you definitely outperformed the Bitcoin market and probably every other market for maybe perhaps NVIDIA. Cleanspark recently had an investor day where investors had the opportunity to go out to one of their facilities. This one was in Norcross, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta, where you get to see the operation, ask questions, meet other investors, and of course, talk to the executive suite and some of the employees at the facility. I really enjoy doing this because I think you gather more information by being in person, shaking hands, and being a poker player. I'd like to think I can get some reads. So anyway, this is what I discovered on my little trip to Atlanta. The night I arrived, we had an impromptu get together with some of the other investors that were on X and YouTube, and we ended up getting crashed by Gary Vecchiarelli, who is the CFO, Matthew Schultz, who is the executive officer, Taylor Mooring, who is the brains behind their immersion technology. This is the CEO who I met the following day, Zach Bradford. All of them were very open to having questions asked, and they were more than happy to discuss whatever we wanted to talk about. This is their immersion cooling facility. Basically, all the Bitcoin miners are in tanks filled with oil that gets circulated with and cooled by a water system. It's very efficient. The computers run at a lower temperature, which makes them more efficient and able to what they call overclock. The downside for this type of operation is that they can't stack computers like they do in other facilities, and floor space and tank space take up a lot of room. And it's a little bit more costly to have a oil submersion system for your computers. They also have a repair facility to make corrections on maybe circuit boards that have gone bad or sensors that are no longer effective. This is all done in-house, and according to the CFO, it has saved them over $1 million in expenses by bringing it in-house and having their technicians do it. They not only fix their own here, but they also fix the computers or the ASIC machines from their other facilities in the area. So when something goes wrong, they ship it to them. They put one right back into the system. So there is no real downtime. They always have spare machines, and they have technicians fixing the ones that are not effective or broken. So since the happening, the Cleanspark crew has decided that it's better to expand while all these other miners are under duress. They can get some bargain basement prices and build up their system so when the Bitcoin price explodes, which I think will be very soon, that they can capitalize on it. The downside to this strategy, of course, is that they need money to buy out the other contenders. This comes by dilution. So what they do is they have what's called an ATM. It's not like a money machine. It's the market offering. So when they need to raise funds to buy out another competitor, they sell shares of their own stock at the market price, which kind of puts a lid on things. They're not going to be as explosive towards the upside because when they have an opportunity to raise funds, that's what they're going to do because that's what's best for the business long term. So my take is that Cleanspark is going to perform just fine as Bitcoin prices rise. They may not grow as fast as they did in the first 18 months that I have them because they are selling more shares of the company to do expansion. Once expansion is complete, then I expect them to really rip much, much higher. I think that Cleanspark is the best managed, best run Bitcoin miner out there. Of all the other ones that I've done research on, some of them are good contenders, but no one has the total package like Cleanspark. But of course, I never recommend putting all your eggs in one basket, but I am filling my basket with a lot of Bitcoin right now. I think that's a no-brainer investment for me and my family. You do what's best for you because this is not financial advice. I am just telling you what I've discovered and what I've learned. It's up to you to figure out what's best for you.